the championship that has been set for this fourth weekend championship has been very, very successful. And I'm very happy that the big number of athletes, actually this is the biggest since we started the track and field. This is the fourth weekend meeting. Now, as about the track, Afraha Stadium is one of the oldest stadiums in this country. And for a very, very long time, it has been maram. It has been sometimes dust. But those who have been here have tried their level best because it has produced a lot of athletes. It has produced a lot of records, both national records and even international records. We have had a lot of championships being done here, even in those olden days. But in the recent past, I would like to start by thanking the county government of Nakuru for coming up with this initiative of having a tartan track. And not only that, when they came up with this idea, they contacted Sports Kenya, they contacted us, and we all sat down and we said, what kind of track do we need here? You can see, even changing the color alone, just the color alone, makes a lot of difference. This is the blue color. I don't think there's any other blue color anywhere in this country, except maybe in Mombasa now. So I want to thank the county for coming up with this idea. I want to thank them for the effort that they have put since that time when we agreed that we are going to put the tartan here in Nakuru. And you can see the difference. Now the athletes have come here to enjoy. The first, second and third weekend meetings, we didn't have any tartan track. This is the first time they are running on a tartan track. So really, I think it's a big achievement. We all must congratulate ourselves. Let's congratulate the county government for the effort. Let's congratulate all the officials who took part, the region, because they were always here to make sure that the right thing is done. And I hope as we go forward, we'll be able to maintain. Construction and laying the track now has been done. But the next thing is about the maintenance of the track. The markings and everything else. Now the maintenance as we go forward. An area where sometimes it's very hot, sometimes it's raining heavily. How do you maintain all that? There is a way that can be maintained so that we can have it for the next 20 years. We don't want to see it like this today, and then in the next 2, 3 years or 5 years, it's all gone again. A lot of money has been put into this, and I'm sure it is important that we maintain it the same way it is, so that it can also give us opportunity to bring the athletes here, to even bring some championships here, and let people come to know the city of Nakuru. This is one of the cities in this country which has a lot of other facilities, even tourism, when you talk about Menengai there, you talk about Lake Nakuru, and so forth and so on. Naivasha is not too far from here. We want to maintain this and make sure we use it properly and that our athletes can benefit out of this. We have high jump, we have shot put, we have discus, we have hammer, and all those things are still going on because there are certain facilities which are not ready yet. Like the hammer cage, for example, is not ready, and so you cannot use hammer unless you have got the cage, those kind of things. So there are quite a few small little things that are still to make it complete. Even at the corner, if you look at the corner of this track here, there's supposed to be a cage there so that in the inner lane, there's a cap which is supposed to prevent any athlete going outside that cap. But now it is not there. So there are still a few things that are required here to make it complete. Of course, the warm-up track is not there yet, and so forth and so on. So there are quite a number of things that we will be working with the county to make sure that all these things are available so that the stadium can be called a stadium, not just a track. It can be called a stadium. Preparation requires a lot of issues. First of all, there are rules and regulations that must be followed. For example, there are qualifying standards. The athletes need to know what are the qualifying standards. The athletes need to know when are the qualifying periods checked on this. So there's a qualifying period which started last year and it goes all the way up to August of this year. The athletes need to understand that. Where can you qualify? For example, now here, as I've just told you a few minutes ago, we cannot qualify here now because it is not certified. So we can only use it for training and maybe competition like this and so forth. But we want, of course, to make sure that it is certified so that in future we can qualify our athletes from here. So they need to understand that. They need to understand the doping issue because they are supposed to have at least a minimum of 3 tests, each one of them, before they come for the trials. Not the championship, the trials. And the trials, you know, is going to be in July. So they need to understand that program. All those things need to be understood. Athletes, not only athletes, coaches, officials, everybody, including managers, everybody who is involved in athletics need to know this. We would be asking you, the media, to educate the athletes through the media so that they understand. There is something called, for example, whereabouts, where sometimes it gives athletes a big problem. When they move from one place to another, they must notify the authorities where they are so that when there is an out of competition test, they can be found in the location that they have given. We have also realized that some young Kenyans, for example, even those who are in school, are using drugs. It is there in the media. If they are using drugs, it means by the time they come to our level, they have already tested some of these things. It is unfortunate. So we all need to educate everybody who is involved in this business, that we stop it completely, and then we have a clean sport of athletics. We don't want to keep every now and then talking about doping. I think at the moment we have got a program for anti-doping so that we look at all these, not only the athletes. Who gives these athletes the drugs? Who manages, who supplies, for example? Where do they get them from? There's so much. So we all need to understand it is not a good thing to do. All of us, not just the athletes alone, but of course it is the athlete who is most affected because it is that athlete who is always the victim. Doping is actually cheating. So why are we cheating the world? You know, it is actually, we are cheating. We are cheating the world to say, oh, you see, we are clean, and yet we are actually not clean. It affects the individual's health. We need to improve our facilities. We need to make sure that we have got, you know, areas where athletes can train.
Based on what we've seen today and on the previous meets, we are having faster times. Even for the ones who went to Uganda, you could see Babu running very fast, Omanyala 10:09 in Uganda. So we have a pretty strong team for the World Relays. And for the selection, it will be a very tough selection this time round because I know there's a new event 4x1 mixed, and then there is 4x1 which we've qualified for men. We've qualified for 4x4 women flat, and men also we've qualified. So based on the timings that we've had today, you could see a lot of sub 21s, around 4 of them from Ekwam, from Chege, from Kiprono. The trials will be good. We'll have a very good team for the World Relays. On the quality of the athletes, we have the quality, just that it is not where it should be. I hope you get it. We are not where we are supposed to be, but we are headed towards that direction. You can see new kids on the block like Dennis Mwai, just new from high school, and is running pretty good times with the seasoned athletes. You can see there is also Simani Regao also coming in well in the 200 meters. That's for men. For women, you can see Brenda Masitsa from Kenya Prisons, who trains with the Esther Bagari. She's pushing for the top positions. So we have the quality. It is not where it's supposed to be, but it is going there. One of our young coaches, Perpetual Mbutu, is in Budapest under a NOC program, National Olympic Committee of Kenya. She is undertaking a strength and conditioning scholarship, training scholarship. Nurturing of talent in Kenya starts right from primary level, junior secondary school. That's what last week I could see we had county level at the junior JSS. So that is where it should start. We should start at the primary level, take it to secondary level, then into the national team. We get it wrong because when the athletes leave primary school, we don't tap that talent. We don't nurture it. Why? Because these training camps, most of our training camps are more about the middle and the long distance. As for sprinting, we need to tap it at a very young age. Tartan track is good for athletes. It's softer as compared to Maram. I like that we've laid a tartan track in Afraha Stadium. It might not be what we as coaches would recommend and advise, but it is a good start. Something can be done. It is not too late. This is a World Bank project, and some things can be corrected. And as it is right now, it can be corrected. Let us correct it. But it's a nice gesture for the region, not just Nakuru, but the surrounding region. There is Nyahururu just around the corner. There is Eldoret. It's at the center. Nakuru is at the heart. So a lot of people, and you can see the turnout. A lot of people have come out because Nakuru Afra has always been a fast track. We encourage more of these tartan tracks all over the region.
Witnessing the first tartan track outside Nairobi, here in Nakuru, it's a big gesture, and I think the other counties should emulate this way forward, because it's the best starting for me. And I also request Athletics Kenya that national trials to be held here, because it's the best altitude to me.
I'm Samuel Kireri Gademba, and I have done what I was expected.
Kwa majina ni Sylvia Kemboy. Mimi nimetembea race walk 15 km, nimekuwa mshindi. Nashukuru Mungu kwa hiyo ushindi. Sikuwa prepared na 15k, lakini penye tumefika asubuhi coach akatuambia mnatembea 15k, na tulikuwa tumeprepare na 10 km. Lakini penye tumefika uwanja asubuhi wakatuchange, wakatuambia 15 km. Na tukakuwa tayari na tukatembea mzuri, nimewin. Sasa nashukuru Mungu kwa hiyo.
Kwa majina naitwa Dominic Mwenda. Na race imekuwa staff. Tumepambana kukaa kuna Gadimba ambaye alikuwa Olympics. Imekuwa ni motisha sana kukaa na yeye.
My name is Nathan Gibe kutoka Kericho. Sikutarajia nitakuwa namba 3. Mimi ni mara ya kwanza kuwalk. Mimi naitwa Joseph Kimutai from Elgeyo Marakwet, Keyo South Sub County. Mimi na train Kapsabet. Tuna train kwa maram, so tumekuja hapa ni mzuri. Najua maram inateleza, si kama tartan.